Okay, then, everyone, let's make a start. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening for the first ever episode of the Future Conservationist Club. So, tonight we are going to be talking specifically about shark biology. So, like I just said, this is the first ever episode of the Future Conservationist Club. So, you are our first club members, and I hope you're super excited to learn about sharks with me today. So, as the title suggests, we're going to be learning about shark biology. Now, before I get into the really cool stuff and a few house rules, let me just introduce myself to you so you know who is giving you all this information. So, my name's Laura Collier. And I am really passionate about wildlife, nature, conservation, and the environment. So, my background is in animal conservation science. So, I studied at university so that I can impart wisdom upon you all in this kind of area. So, my background is conservation, and that's what I'm really, really passionate about. I'm also really passionate about marine biology. I'm co-founder and director of Conservation Chat UK, which is the events business you're seeing this event through. And we really wanted to make conservation and information about wildlife and nature accessible to children. So we're putting on these free events for you to enjoy. I also lead a marine biology research project called Operation Cetacean. So I study my local marine mammals such as harbour porpoises and common dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, all that kind of stuff in my local area of Tor Bay in Devon. Um, and I have had my research published, which is really cool. So maybe parents, guardians, if you're interested, I can hook you up with my publication. And for my 9 to 5, what I'm doing for my day job is I am a teacher. So I'm level 5 qualified in teacher training, and I spend my 9 to 5 teaching students how to look after animals. So looking after all of their needs, such as feeding, cleaning, handling, etc. So that's a little bit about me. So I just need to go over a few house rules before we get into the cool stuff, okay? So just so you're aware, guys, this event is being recorded and I will be sharing this on YouTube. So we just ask that you keep your cameras off to keep you all safe. So please just make sure, I think I've set it so that you can't have your cameras on anyway, just as a fail safe. But at the moment, that's kind of one of our house rules. Another rule is you must have a parent or guardian present just to keep you as safe as possible in this virtual space. And most importantly, have fun. So this is going to be very interactive. So please use that chat box. When I ask you questions, please pop your answers in the chat because that's where I'll find out if you know any answers to any of my questions. And if I ask you to do certain things like hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down to answer a question, that is also in the chat. Stu, my husband and co-founder of Conservation Chat, is in the audience monitoring things so that everyone is safe and has a lovely time, essentially. So, going to start off the event with some fact or fiction. So in the chat box, I'm going to ask you 3 fact or fiction questions, and you're going to put thumbs up for if you think it's true, or thumbs down if you think it's false. Okay, so is everyone happy with that? Thumbs up for true, thumbs down for false. So, my fact or fiction question for you is, all sharks are dangerous to humans? So you let me know in the chat box. Do you think that's true or do you think that's false? Ooh. Are all sharks dangerous to humans? So thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Give you a couple more seconds. Well, looks like you've all got it right because it is fiction. Not all sharks are dangerous to humans. Out of 500 plus, so more than 500 shark species in the world, only a tiny handful of them have ever caused problems for humans. And most are completely harmless. So you can go and tell your friends and family after you come out of this event tonight, sharks are our friends and we shouldn't fear them. Okay, next question, fact or fiction? Some sharks can glow in the dark. So thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. You guys are too good. Yes, it is a fact that some sharks can glow in the dark. So you can see on your screen there, you've got a glowing purple shark. So this is called the lantern shark. And it's got capabilities or is able to produce light by special organs that make them glow. So absolutely, some sharks can glow in the dark. How cool is that? Okay, your third fact or fiction question coming up is sharks have to keep swimming to stay alive. True or false? Fact or fiction? Sharks have to keep swimming to stay afloat. Really good interactions from you guys. Thank you very much. So the answer is fact, but only for some. So it's a bit of a little bit of in between. So many sharks do need to swim to keep water flowing through their gills or their lungs in shark terms, but others can rest on the floor and pump water through their gills using their mouths. So well done, everyone. Really good going there. Thank you very much for joining in with my fact or fiction. So let's move on. So what makes a shark a shark? So let's have a look at this shark's body. So we're looking at biology. Let's look at the shark's body. So sharks all have eyes, of course, helps them see, helps them hunt, helps them evade predators if they're low on the food chain. They have gills, so we just talked about gills need water flowing over them. This helps oxygen be absorbed into those gills so that they can breathe. So they don't have lungs, they have gills. They have a dorsal fin. That's that big kind of famous fin that everybody knows well, that you can usually see at the top of the water for it's like great white sharks are quite famous for having a big dorsal fin. We have a rear dorsal fin, so there's two dorsal fins, but one is big and one is small and usually further back on the body, nearer the tail. We also, of course, have a tail, which sweeps through the water and gives them their amazing hydrodynamics so they can swim really quickly in the water. They have an anal fin, so a fin near the anus. We have pelvic fins, fins in the pelvis. We have pectoral fins, so they're like their arms essentially, but fins at the top of the body. We have that big mouth and teeth as well. And of course a nose. And we're going to learn more about this nose very, very shortly. But what I want you to do now, guys, is point to your ribs. Point to your ribs right now. Would you believe that sharks don't have ribs? Incredible, right? So put in the chat if you knew that. Did you know? Thumbs up or thumbs down me. Did you know that sharks don't have ribs? Is that new info for you? Yeah. I'm not going to lie, guys. When I was making this presentation for you, I didn't know that either. So I learned something. So sharks do not have ribs, and we'll learn more about that now. So sharks don't have ribs. So sharks are fish, and they have skeletons, but they're not made of bone. They're made of cartilage. So the same bendy stuff in your ears and your nose. So tug on your ears or on your nose. That is cartilage, and that is what shark skeletons are made of. Now, there is a reason for this. Cartilage is very light and very flexible. It doesn't weigh very much and it's very bendy. So sharks don't need ribs to hold them together like we do. If the shark had ribs like us made of bone, they could sink. So they're not going to be as easy to swim in the water. They're going to weigh too much and they might sink to the bottom. They're not going to live very long if that's the case. So they need the light and bendy cartilage that allows them to swim faster and glide through the water really easily. So instead of ribs, sharks rely on strong muscles and their big oily liver to keep them afloat. So how cool is that? Now, this is the really cool stuff, okay? So we're going to look at That's absolutely fine. I just saw in the chat there, no worries. The recording will come out to you. You can watch back whenever you feel like, as soon as I get it out to you guys, okay? So now let's have a look at the super senses that our sharks have. So I remember when I was doing my animal management college course years ago, and we had to do a project about, we had to write an assignment or an essay about an animal with like really interesting senses, and I chose sharks because they have such impressive senses. So, sharks have an incredible sense of smell. It's like superhuman, incredible sense of smell. They can smell one drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So, a teeny tiny amount of blood in a really big body of water, they can pick that up, which is so cool. So, imagine that you could smell cookies baking from your best friend's house that is 3 streets away. That's kind of what sharks' abilities are. They can smell very little from very, very far away, which makes them really efficient predators, makes them really, really good at being predators. So essentially, they're the superheroes of sniffing. Okay, another super sense for our lovely sharks. This is called the lateral line. So it's the water movement sense. So sharks have a special line along their body, along their sides, that lets them feel tiny movements in the water, usually vibrations from other animals moving, but they can pick that up. They can't see it, they can't hear it, but they know there's something there because of this incredible lateral line sensory system. So imagine if the air around you could whisper when someone was sneaking up on you. So it's like having a sixth sense. You can feel things in the air or in the water before you see or hear them. So incredible superhero sense for the sharks there. Another super sense that these guys have is called, this is a big word here, we'll call it the electricity sense, but the technical term is electroreception. So sharks can sense electricity from other animals, even buried under the sand. So if there's a fish that hides under the sand in the water, a shark might be able to pick that up, depending on species and their kind of prey choices. But the little black dots on their nose, these are called the ampullae of Lorenzini. So this is one of my favourite shark senses. Now have a look on the screen there. I've got you an image of a shark quite close up, and you can see all over the nose, there's lots of teeny tiny black dots. These are the ampullae of Lorenzini. And essentially, these are like the shark having a built-in X-ray goggle. So those they're basically little kind of fluid-filled sacs, and they are able to pick up vibrations and movements so that they can find prey really, really easily. How cool is that? Incredible. So, which superpower would you want? So I want you to pop it in the chat for me. Would you rather have smell, night vision, super hearing, or electricity sense? Tell me in the chat what you would have. What sense would you choose if you were a shark? So we got some night vision, electricity sense. I mean, night vision is pretty cool, isn't it? Being able to hunt and search for your prey without any use of light, that's really cool. Electricity sense, you can feel things without having to see them. Super hearing, yes, I do wish that I have super hearing sometimes. But this, all of these things together, guys, this is what makes the shark such an incredible animal and so capable. And they're basically prehistoric. They've been here since the dinosaurs and they've not really changed that much because they've got these incredible senses that allow them to be the top predators of the ocean. So, I'm going to show you a video in a second, just a short one, but I want to show you a shark hunting super skill. So this shark is called the thresher shark, and we actually get these in the UK, so in the United Kingdom, and we actually get them off our coastline in Devon sometimes. We're very lucky to get them in Brixham and off Torbay. So this shark is so incredibly cool. Instead of chasing fish and just snapping them up, they have a super big long tail that they use like a whip, and they whip fish that stuns them and stops them from swimming so the shark can then go and gobble them up. So let's have a look at this super sense in action.
The thresher shark. Perfectly designed to devastate its prey. They wait for several hours, but the thresher never appears. For now, the sardines have nothing to fear. This swarming behavior of small fish might have evolved as a defense against predators, perhaps to confuse them. But in the arms race between predator and prey, the thresher shark has evolved its amazing whip-like tail. This behavior has been captured on video by lucky divers, but not at the high speed this team hoped for. The shark circles and scoops up the stunned and dead prey, a far more effective hunting technique than chasing single fish. Scientists believe the strike happens like this. The thresher speeds toward the schooling fish and uses its tail like a whip. First, it rotates its pectoral fins down to stop short. The tip of the tail may reach speeds of 50 miles per hour. Bubbles rising from the tip indicate a shock strong enough to diffuse gas out of the water.
So how cool is the thresher shark? So they've got quite a small and torpedo-shaped body, which allows them to swim really fast in the water, but it's really that long, strong, and very fast tail that really helps them survive in the wild. So if you didn't know about the thresher shark, now you do. So let's have a look at a few more specific species and what they're capable of. So this is the shark that you can see on your screen. This is called the short fin mako shark. Now, as far as sharks go, this one can look a little bit scary, but they are so incredibly fast. They're one of the fastest sharks in the ocean, and you can see from their body shape, they're really built for hydrodynamics, so the ability to swim quickly in water. They can reach speeds over 40 miles per hour. So they're incredibly fast. And it's like basically they are the race car of the shark world. So we know that the cheetah is the fastest animal in the world, but I reckon the mako shark is probably the fastest shark in the world. Then we have this cool dude. So this is a wobblegong shark. Incredible name. And these guys really rely on camouflage attack. So they're ambush predators. So they wait until something comes along and then they gobble it up. But these guys are quite strange looking, but when they lie on the sea floor, they become camouflaged and animals can't see them. They just blend in with their environment. So they just sit and they wait. When something yummy comes along, they pounce and they gobble up that animal. So it's like playing hide and seek with the best hider ever. You can see in the lower image there a wobblegog that has been sat on the seafloor and is actually gobbling up another shark species. So a really, really cool animal. Tell me in the chat if you love a hammerhead. I love a hammerhead. They're my favorite. Oh, it's really hard to pick. It's really, really hard to pick. But hammerheads and blue sharks, I think, are my favorite sharks, but or and whale sharks. Changes on a daily, depending on how I'm feeling, but I absolutely love a hammerhead. Always found them fascinating. When I used to watch David Attenborough when I was very, very young, always watching the hammerheads on television. So these are called a hammerhead because their head looks like a hammer. Really, really nice, easy to remember. You actually have two species of hammerheads in the world. So there's the greater hammerhead and the scallop hammerhead. But generally, the reason why a hammerhead's head, hammerhead, the reason why their head is that shape is because it essentially acts like a big net on their head. So they use their wide head to pin stingrays to the sand or to sweep side to side to trap fish. So it's like using a big net and it's just scooping up all of those prey species. So these guys, absolutely incredible. They've also got the ampullae of Lorenzini, they've got the lateral lines, they've got the super senses, just a slightly different shape for a slightly different prey species. So really, really cool. Now, next up, one of my another favorite from me. This is the beautiful whale shark. So this is the biggest shark in the world. They get absolutely huge. But the best thing about them is they are gentle giants. So these guys are really, really big, but all they do is they vacuum water up through their mouths, so they suck water in. So they're not a kind of a passive filter feeder like a basking shark. So they just keep their mouths open, the water flows through, they filter out the food, and the water comes out their gills. Whale sharks actively suck water through their mouths like a big hoover, and they eat all the little organisms that are in the water. So they mainly eat plankton, and they do have teeth, but their teeth are so tiny they don't use them to chew. They act more like a sieve to sieve out the food from the water. How cool is that? So give me a thumbs up if you love a whale shark in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you love a whale shark. Look at those beautiful patterns, all those spots. I'm desperate to see whale sharks in the wild. One day I will. Amazing stuff, guys. So, now for some conservation, okay? So, this wouldn't be a Conservation Chat UK event unless we talked about conservation, because that's what we're all about here. We're all about spreading information about the natural world so that we can better protect it. So, let's talk about conservation. So I really wanted to focus on things that you guys can do from home. So one of the best things that you can do for sharks, because they've got a lot of bad reputation, unfortunately, is spread the good word about them. So you don't need to be a scientist to help a shark. Share what you've learned here today with your friends and family. Focus on the good stuff because what we focus on grows. And if we focus on the good stuff for sharks, like their super senses and their amazing predatory abilities, not just that they are scary, because we know they're not scary, But we need to focus on sharks as being incredible, unique, powerful animals that hold a place in the world, just like everything else. So tell your friends and your family when you go to school tomorrow, tell all your friends what you've learned about sharks in this session, because just that might change someone's mind about how they think about sharks. And when you tell your friends that most sharks are harmless, you are helping sharks get a better reputation. So spread the word that in over 500 species of sharks, only a few have ever hurt humans, and the majority are just trying to live their lives out in the ocean. So something else that you guys can do is support ocean-friendly choices, okay? So what we spend our money on, essentially we're voting for that thing. So this is a really important fact, guys, that I think everyone needs to know, that in the world, around 50 million sharks are killed by accident every single year in fishing nets. So the fisherman might be out to go and collect some cod for your cod and chips, but unfortunately, those nets don't know the difference between a shark and a cod. So everything gets swept up in the nets, and then lots of these sharks are killed accidentally. And I don't know about you guys, give me a thumbs down if you agree that 50 million sharks a year is too many. We shouldn't be killing 50 million sharks a year. Absolutely not. What do they do to deserve this? So ask your family to choose seafood. If you do eat seafood, make sure it's as responsibly sourced as possible. The best option is to check if it's Marine Conservation Society confirmed. But if you really want to save sharks, you really want to protect them, avoid eating fish because sharks are fish too. So we need to protect all sea life, and fishing, unfortunately, is killing a lot of species. Even my harbour porpoises, dolphins, sea turtles, they all get swept up in the nets. So make good choices. Something that you can do literally this week if you want to. Stop the rubbish from entering the oceans. It's such an easy thing to do. So, plastic bags, bottles, cans, all sorts of horrible rubbish ends up in the sea. So, bring your own water bottle to school, take a reusable bag to the shops, and just generally avoid buying lots of plastic because actually we don't recycle very well in the UK. It's always best to refuse than to recycle because 9 times out of 10, it's all going to end up in landfill anyway. So it's a bit dodgy. But even picking up litter on your own street, in your garden, at your school, all of this rubbish, if it's not picked up and put away sensibly and safely, it is going to eventually end up in some kind of river, stream, lake, which all eventually end up in the ocean. So, doesn't matter where you're picking rubbish up from, just pick it up, put it in the bin. One of the easiest and most effective things you can do in person. And also, I don't know if I live by the sea. I'm very lucky that I live by the seaside. But even if you live in a city, picking litter so it doesn't end up in the waterways is so, so effective. And you've got companies like 2 Minutes Beach Clean that usually provide all of the stuff that you need, like litter pickers and bags on beaches. Really, really accessible now. So you could even join a local beach or river cleanup group and or just do your own litter pick. So whenever you go down to the beach in the summer or in the winter, because I go to the beach every month of the year, but just any rubbish you see, pick it up, put it in the bin, wash your hands, done. You've done a good thing for sharks and all other marine life just by doing that. Dream big, guys. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. So, scientists, conservationists, and storytellers all help protect sharks. So, you might love sharks, but you don't want to be a marine biologist. That's fine, but tell people about your passion for saving sharks in the wild and making sure that they're protected and not vilified or treated like villains. Draw sharks, so you might be a budding artist, you might love writing stories. Whatever it is, spread the good word about sharks. Make YouTube videos, make Instagram reel videos about sharks and how amazing they are, because they need as much good publicity as we can possibly get them. The ocean needs you guys. So it's really, really important that we share our passion and we share our knowledge and let people know how incredibly important sharks are to the environment. They've been here since the dinosaurs. We haven't even been here that long, and we're killing 50 million of them every single year. So something's got to change, and you guys can be a part of that. So, top cool shark facts. Number one, sharks don't have ribs. How cool is that? Make sure you go and tell your friends. Sharks can glow in the dark, so remember the lantern shark, an amazing animal that can glow in the dark because it lives right down at the bottom of the sea and has organs that let it glow in the dark. Amazing. And most sharks are harmless. So I really want you guys to go away from this event and tell your friends and family these three facts, because that's going to spark a conversation where you can tell them how amazing sharks are and how important it is that we look after them as a species. So I want you to write down in the chat now, what is your favourite shark? It doesn't have to be one that I've talked about tonight. Just tell me what your favourite shark is. Ooh, poor beagle. Oh, I've gone too far. So we've got Mako shark, really cool, yeah. Amazing shark. Basking shark, yes. Oh, do you know what, guys? When I was really, this is a long time ago now, when I was really young and I was in primary school, I used to be terrified of sharks because unfortunately I watched the film Jaws when I was too young and it really, really scared me. So I am living proof that you can go from being terrified of sharks to absolutely loving them and advocating for them. But the basking shark really scared me, and I think it was those big wide mouths and the big gills, and they look quite spooky in our murky water in the UK. Oh my God, I was so scared of them. But then I learned more about them, and then I realised how incredibly gentle they are, and how in trouble they are, and how much support they need from us. And actually, I don't know, parents, guardians, I actually have a basking shark talk. If anyone's interested, let me know if you want me to host that. I will do it. It's been a little while since I have hosted the basking shark talk, so I think it might be ready to bring it back out. Yes, thank you. I will get that onto our Eventbrite as soon as I can. So we got Port Beagle. So this one's quite rare. We don't see these very often, but they're really cool animals. We do get them in the UK. We also get makos. We get basking sharks, zebra and leopard sharks. Yes, they are beautiful animals. Absolutely gorgeous. Incredible. Great, guys. Thank you so much for your input. Really appreciate when you use the chat box. So, tell me your favorite shark fact in the chat box. What is your, it doesn't have to be one that I've told you. It can be one that I've never heard before. You never know. So tell me your favorite shark fact. What do you know about sharks that you want everyone to know about? Oh my God, that's so cool. Older than trees and the rings of Saturn? Wow, I didn't know that. That's ace. They have superpowers, including electric sensors. Yes, they are just incredible animals. They're so intelligent, so just amazing animals. Incredible. Lateral lines to feel tiny movements. Yes, incredible senses. Powerful. Amazing, guys. Thank you so much. Now, guys, you are officially a shark hero. So you can come away from this event and say, I'm a shark hero because I learnt about sharks tonight and now I'm going to spread the good word to help protect them in the wild because that's what we all need to do as future conservationists. So now I'm going to open it up to you guys. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me about sharks? And I will do my utmost to try and answer them. But by no means do I ever call myself an expert in anything, just so you know. But if you've got any questions you want to ask me, go for it. And I will answer them to the best of my ability. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds while see if anyone wants to pop any questions in the chat. I'm not seeing anything come through. Oh, what is a mermaid's purse? Yes, amazing. So a mermaid's purse. Oh, I wish I had one here right now. I could show you because I've got a big collection of mermaid's purses. But a mermaid's purse is a shark egg. So some sharks lay their eggs and the eggs kind of get twisted up in seaweed and they get anchored onto the seaweed and then the shark grows inside the pouch. And once that pouch is left by the young shark, it leaves and it swims off into the ocean. That pouch is then known as a mermaid's purse. So really, really cool thing that you guys can do as well is there is the big shark egg survey. I think it's the Shark Trust do it. So if you're ever on the beach and you find a mermaid's purse, aka a shark or a ray egg that is empty, you can log it and help with citizen science so that we're tracking how many egg cases are in the UK. I don't know if anyone's ever been to South Milton Sands, but that place is like a magnet for shark eggs. They're always washing up on the beach there. So if you want to try and find one, that's a really good spot. But what I might do, guys, is if you're following us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, I might do a little video about our mermaids' purses, shark eggs, so that you can see them in a little bit more detail. Any more questions, guys, about our sharky sharks? Okie dokie. You guys have been so incredible. Thank you so much for answering all of my questions and getting involved with fact or fiction, telling me what your favorite sense is. I hope you really enjoyed this. This is the first time I've done it, so hopefully you found it entertaining, educational, inspiring. If you did enjoy it, can you tell me in that chat box what you want the next Future Conservationist Club to be about? Because this is for you guys. What do you want to learn? I will make it happen. Okay, so do you love lions, tigers, bears? Do you love insects? Do you love reptiles? Tell me in the chat box now so I've got a bit of an idea of what I need to make for episode 2. Bugs, yes, I love bugs. I'm a bug lover. Coral, dolphins, or starfish? Oh, some of my favorites. Amazing. Anything else, guys? This is your opportunity to ask for what you want. Pandas? I've never done a talk about pandas. I could be tempted by that one. Ace. Whatever you want to see, guys, I will make it for you. And just keep an eye on our Eventbrite. We've got a little collection for the Future Conservationist Club so that you can see when the next episode is uploaded ready for registration. In the meantime, the majority of our events, guys, are kind of suitable for most ages. Some of them are kind of a little bit more on the sciencey side, but nothing is, I wouldn't say anything is above anyone's heads. We do lots of introductions, lots of beginners events. So if you're interested, please head over to our Eventbrite and check out what we've got on offer. We've got so many events going and we're always willing to make more because we're so passionate about this. So thank you so, so much, guys. You have been so incredible. I'm just going to give you an extra minute now. Oh, seaweed. I've not done one about seaweed. Maybe I could do like a general kind of ocean themed one where we look at a little bit of everything. Maybe that will be a good compromise, or I might just do one for everything. I've got loads of ideas to keep going. Amazing. Are there any more questions before I let you guys sign off and go and get a good night's kit before school tomorrow? Okay, perfect. I'm going to call it there then, guys. Thank you so, so much for coming tonight. You've been absolutely incredible. I've really enjoyed this event and I hope you did too. Go and tell your friends and family about your amazing shark knowledge now. Spread the word and keep an eye on Eventbrite for your next episode of the Future Conservationist Club. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely evening. Sleep well.